Come on down. Come on down.
Hey, John Teti, come on down! You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Just a dream.
No, it wasn't a dream. It's the AV Club's Price is Right special. We're spending the whole half hour behind the scenes of America's greatest game show. We'll talk to the host, the announcer. But first, we're going to begin our day the same way Price does, with hundreds of hopeful would-be contestants waiting in line for their chance to come on down. Tell me why you made this pilgrimage from Iowa.
Because it's like my bucket list item. Like, I've watched Price is Right since I was a little kid. Like, it was the best part of a sick day.
And is this your first time at the show?
Yes.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes, it is.
After decades of watching the show, you finally made it.
Yes.
How long have you been watching the show?
Since I can...
Since time immemorial.
Yep.
Before Bob. Just before Bob was on it.
Before Bob, so like back in the Bill Cullen
He's older
days.
than I am.
Was there one? I made that up. I have no idea.
There was an earlier Price is Right, in fact. What do you want to play if you get on the show?
Oh, that's a good one. I like Plinko.
Plinko. What about you, Nancy? Everybody likes Plinko.
I want to play the cliffhanger.
Yes, the mountain climber, right?
Time clock game.
Clock game. Good choice. That's a savvy choice.
I like to do the pricing, see which price is higher or lower.
Okay. Well, that's most of the games.
The mouse rat thingy.
Oh, Rat Race! I love Master Key myself, but that might be a bit of a deep cut.
cool too.
Those huge locks.
The whole show is exciting. Even if you don't get up there, it is just so much fun.
You got it! Where would you retire from, Naomi?
I retired from education.
Education. So you don't have to be smarter than a fifth grader anymore.
No.
Good. Thank God for that, right? How are you, Sonora?
I'm good.
All right, I'm here now with the indefatigable Stan Blitz. He just got done interviewing all of the potential contestants for the first show of the day. You're going to have to do it all over again.
Yep.
How do you sustain that energy?
It's amazing. Actually, I feed off the contestants. They're really amazing. They give me energy, and when they're good, it makes me even more energetic. I absolutely love them.
I bet. Now, you talk to each person for like 10, 15 seconds as far as I can
Depends. Sometimes 5 seconds, sometimes a minute. Depends on the person.
And is that just, are you trying to, if you're talking to them for a longer time, does that mean there's more potential for them to be on the show? How do you get your read?
Not necessarily. Sometimes I intentionally talk to people longer to throw the other ones off. Because if you get somebody who's enthusiastic, and a lot of people say, I got this in the bag, they think they're great, and then they think they've got it because you've talked to them for 30 seconds, and then you go to the next person who's completely flat. If you talk to them too quickly, everybody kind of knows. It's like you're passing over.
There's so much mystery to the process. Now, I notice you have an assistant or a colleague
or
nearby.
associate producer.
Associate producer with a pad of paper.
Yes.
How does she know?
She knows we have a little system, which I can't divulge, where we communicate with each other, and if I really like somebody, she takes a lot of notes on everybody, but there's a special way for her to know who I like.
So my viewers will want to know, if they come out to The Price is Right, what are you looking for?
There's 3 things, really. Energy is number 1. Of course, energy is the most important thing you got to have. Sincerity. A lot of people, I've seen people on an interview where they think that swinging their arms around and jumping up, it's like, I'm so happy to be here, I'm really excited. They think that that's going to get you on the show. It's like, not about that. It's got to be visceral. It's got to come from your bones. You absolutely have to really be happy to be here. And then the third thing, if I can get it, is potential humor.
He says it's less.
That's less true.
Are you sure you want to see? Are you positive?
Because Drew's a comic. You know, he loves funny things.
And he's someone who likes to improvise and play off people.
Yes. If I have somebody with a great career or a sassy old 90-year-old, it's like, I'm going to marry you, Drew Carey, that kind of thing. That's gold.
How long have you been doing this, Stan?
Well, I'm almost afraid to tell you.
Yeah.
I've been on the show for 38 years, but I've been doing contestants for about 14.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Have people changed over the course of doing this?
I think they have. I think people are a little more brazen. I think people are just, they know what it takes to be, and there's so many other game shows on the air now that they know that dynamics, that's what makes it. So I think people give you a little more now than they used to.
Okay, Stan, 10 years ago, I was standing in this line, you interviewed me.
You're amazing. I remember everything about it.
Exactly. I did not get on the show.
But just because you didn't get on the show doesn't mean you weren't good.
Okay.
Because you know what could have happened is that I could have had 3 other guys that are exactly like you. And one guy gave a little bit more energy during the interview. But you know what? People come back to the show all the time for a second shot, and third and fourth and fifth time, and it could have been your day.
And here I am.
Yes, here you are. You could have come back. I could have picked you.
So no hard feelings.
No hard feelings. I'm sure you were great. Now you're disqualified because you can never come to the show ever again. You really screwed your chances.
That's okay. I'm happy to be on the other side. Stan, thank you so much for taking the time.
You're so welcome.
It was so much fun.
I know that's why you're here.
Okay, I'm here now with a veteran game show producer. He executive produces. You're a veteran, aren't you? You don't want to be a veteran?
No, I do.
Okay.
I do.
He's
I've always wanted to be a veteran.
Extremely talented game show producer. He executive...
New to the scene.
That's right. He executive produces The Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal, among other projects. It's Mike Richards. Mike, thanks for being
Thanks
here.
for having me. This is awesome.
You do executive produce these 2 shows, Price and Deal, right? And I think on paper, they look very similar. You play a bunch of little games, you're grabbing people from the audience, but on screen, they have a very different energy. How do you see the differences between them?
Well, when we brought Let's Make a Deal back, it was really purposeful to make them very different. You didn't want them to seem like, wait, didn't I just see that?
Right.
So Deal is very different in that you never know what's going to happen. The format is you want this or that, and we've come up with 200 different ways of doing. Do you want this or that? But it's a very loose format. Sometimes we'll do a game like, should we do 3 contestants in this one, or should we just do 1? I mean, it's that loose, where Price is Right, you know you're going to play 6 pricing games, there's going to be 2 wheels, and there's going to be a showcase.
Talk to me about the science of putting together those 6 pricing games for each show.
So we have a producer whose job it is. So each game has a different assumed time, which we never hit. Like never ever. It's about timing. You always want to have at least 2 card games. I love having at least a cash game, and then different kinds of prizes and pacing. So there's an enormous amount that goes into just laying out the 6 games, where you would think you'd just go, well, that one, that one, that one, that one.
Talk to me about the art of the setup. The games don't play the same every time.
Right. Every game has a different setup as far as what prizes we put out. And sometimes just putting a particular prize in with a particular price can make it harder. And so we have to be aware of that, because you need people to win, but you can't have a game show where everybody wins because you go bankrupt. You want some losses. Obviously, you want way more wins than losses, but it's a balance. Again, you map it out one way, it never turns out that way. I mean, ever.
Right. One of the things I really admire about the producing job you've done on this show is this is a show with a lot of tradition. How do you strike that balance between respecting what people are coming to see and have been coming to see for decades and keeping the show relevant?
I mean, we say, is that Price is Righty? I mean, I say it drives people crazy, but it's like, that's
It's
really,
fun to say,
it
though.
is fun to say. It's insane that that's part of my job, to go, is that Price is Righty, though? Everyone walks in here and they're like, oh my gosh, it's just how I saw it when I was a kid.
It's Valhalla, practically. Yeah.
Except for there's not one piece of this set that is the same as it was 6 years ago. We've changed, there's not one drape, there's not, I mean, the lights are different, every inch of it is different, except for that it's not. It feels even more like The Price is Right than it did 25 years ago.
You watch on YouTube some clips of episodes from, say, 15, 20 years ago, and yes, it's still fun and vibrant, but, like, there's not as much color, and, like, oh, the doors don't pop quite as much.
Oh, they weren't lit. I mean, these have lights in them now, which they couldn't even do back then. You know, it was all paint.
Can you just talk to me about how you've produced the show for Drew? If you go back and watch those early episodes, when Drew comes out of the big doors, you've got the star wipe. You've got, like, oh, here's our MC at the top of the mountain, like you did for Bob Barker. And now you have Drew comes out, he talks to the jib camera, it swings around. Drew's kind of the hub. He's not the guy on the top of the mountain, he's the hub of the party.
Yeah, you really understand this.
Oh,
this
man.
Is insane.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking to me about it.
Okay,
only
so
more
is my
informed.
theory on point? Like, have you sort of reshaped the production of the show to fit Drew's talents?
Every inch of it.
Yeah.
I always joke there's not two more different men in the world than Bob and Drew, and yet they have inhabited the same space and the same job. And so it was important to me to really change the way every inch of it was done, the way it was shot, the way it was edited, wireless cameras. Bob never missed a mark, never missed a timing. No, Drew's never hit a mark, never gotten a timing. That's not who Drew is. I don't want him to be. That's not who we hired. Right. He's the guy that's going to make a moment out of nothing that is so relaxed. It isn't, I didn't want him encumbered with production and marks and where should he be looking. No, we'll move. My favorite thing is he'll go over, someone will win big, they'll run over the car or whatever, and George or one of the models will be near him, and he'll go over, he's like, how great is that? And it's a live moment. I mean, it's a real moment, as if he's saying to his buddy, man, how great is it? And then they high five. The set is 360 degrees. There's nowhere you can't look that it'll be a pretty shot.
Before we go, you're also a host, I know.
Yes.
Talk about the show that's coming back for season 2 on GSN right now.
So I do a show called Divided, which is a really fun show. It's 4 contestants that answer questions together. So they have to be unanimous in their decisions. The longer they take, the less money they get. And so they build bank. So
cruel.
Let's say they bank $35,000. They then have to agree on who gets what share, and we divide the money amount into 3 unequal amounts, and then the longer they take, the less money they get.
We're losing a lot of money.
Watch Divided on GSN, and stay tuned for more of our Price is Right special right here on the AV Club.
He's got a wheel pin.
I do.
I mean,
I do.
I don't even have a wheel pin.
I'm here with George Gray. He's the announcer on The Price is Right. George,
Hi, buddy.
how long have you been standing at this podium?
I think we've been here for about 60 seconds now. I'm starting my 7th season. Megan Hollenhorst, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Can you believe that? Isn't that amazing? And only 3 other guys have had this as a permanent job before me. Johnny Olson, Rod Roddy, and Rich Fields.
I don't know if people know, but for 2 seasons you hosted the syndicated Weakest Link.
I did,
here in the U.S. I thought you were a great host of that. What was it like to transition from host to announcer?
So I did a bunch of different stuff. I mean, it was all hosting, but it all was different somehow.
Yeah.
This was just kind of a normal transition, and they were looking for somebody that had a good rapport with Drew, good rapport with the models, and comfortable with on camera. So I just sort of fell into it. But people are like, "Oh, how long you were an announcer?" I'm like, never done it. Just sort of stumbled backwards in the most famous announcing job in America.
Do you think that's what it was, the rapport? Because there was this big on-air tryout for like a number of months. We saw different faces over here.
Yeah.
Why do you think
very
you got
good
the
ones
gig?
too? For me, I just decided I was going to come in, do the best I could, and I just thought I'm going to go have fun, for 20 episodes. And at the end, I was like, I didn't mean to fall in love. Just went out on a date. At the end, I was like, oh, please, come on.
How do you make the 1,000th can of Star-Kissed tuna sound lively? How do you keep yourself from sounding bored describing these supermarket products?
Because I'm actually not bored.
That's a 6.5-ounce canister of cornstarch. It's a 200-count box of disposable bath cups, a 13.3-ounce box of mashed potato mix.
When I'm describing a can of cream corn, a 16-ounce can versus a 32-ounce can, well, that matters.
Yeah.
It's not the price is close, So I'm never phoning it in. I'm never thinking like, what do I got to do when I get home?
George, what's the proper present for a 3-year anniversary?
Oh, well, let's see. For the 3rd year, I think you're supposed to have a brand new car.
So I've got the director in my ear, and I can hear the show in my ear.
It's a lot to keep track of.
Pat your head, rub your stomach.
Yeah, George, what the hell is this?
Fans make stuff, and a fan brought that into the show one day, and I thought it was so amazing that I keep it back here.
Drew must love it.
Hey, good morning, Drew. Hi, everybody out there. What a great crowd. Hi, Mama May.
Tell us about Mama May. You say hello to her at the beginning of every show.
I do. If you don't know who Mama May is, that's my mom. There was a couple of shows here and there that I would just say, hi, Mom. Like, we shoot kind of out of sequence. Mm-hmm. Apparently a whole bunch of them aired together. And then there was some that aired where I didn't say hi to her. I started getting letters.
People were worried about
Why aren't you saying hi to your mom? What's wrong? Is she okay? What's going on? Are you guys fighting? I'm like, no. And so I started saying hi to her, and they didn't stop me.
Does Mama May watch every episode?
I'll come to Arizona, and she'll offer to make me pancakes, and she'll say, "Ooh, how about I make pancakes and we watch The Price is Right?" Like, Mom, it's sort of like going to work.
Thank you, George Gray, announcer for The Price is Right. We've got more coming up on our Price is Right special here on the AV Club. Stay tuned. They will. Okay, I'm very excited. I'm here now with the guy who I think has the best job in the world. It's the host of The Price is Right, Drew Carey! You say it on the show all the time, but I think you believe it. It's the best job.
It's the best job. I don't know how you get better. I get to give away, first of all, I get credit for giving away CBS's money. It's not my money I'm giving away. I don't care. Take it all.
Talk to me about your state of mind before you come out the big doors now as compared to your state of mind when you came out the big doors the very first time 10 years ago.
Oh, I think when I first started, it was just like, don't screw it up, don't screw it up, don't screw it up. Like I had that in my head all the time. And now I feel like I just want to go. I feel really thankful and blessed. And I come out and I know people toss those words around, but I really do. All right, so this is the note I look at when I go out. The first says, you are a carnival barker, and I put happy carnival barker. Surf the contestants wave, and then get the TV audience to come back. So I see that right when I walk out the door, just to remind myself. Gets me in the mood.
Happy carnival barker, that's important, because there's angry, scary ones.
Well, you're not just a bored, like, step on up, or, last day of August, and you're like, done with it. So, you just have to show up and be in a good mood.
Something about guys named Raymond. Everybody loves him.
When did the show feel like it was Drew's Price is Right?
The second year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was it?
First of all, once that first year is over, I don't know, maybe it's like dating or something like that, where you're, there's like an initial thing where you have that, like, the chemical reaction, where you have that chemical feeling of being in love, where you're like addicted to this thing that gets released in your body when your subconscious finds somebody, and then that wears out after a while, and then you have to find some other way to make sure you're in the right relationship. You know what I mean? And I think that's what happened in the second year. I was like, okay, now I'm going to get, now it's my show. Because I got through the first year. I know all the games now. Mm-hmm. And now I can be a little looser. I can walk wherever I want. I don't have to say things. I don't have to worry that much.
And how many games are there in rotation
now? 70-some.
And you've got them all down pat?
Yeah. The way to describe it is if you have people over to play home poker, do you ever do that? Like AC/DC and night baseball. And it's just... If you haven't played in a while, say you get together only Thanksgiving or something with your relatives, somebody says night baseball, all of a sudden you remember how to play night baseball or Follow the Queen or whatever the game is. Right. Or if you haven't played Monopoly in a while, you break out the Monopoly game, you just make sure everybody knows, like, hey, no free parking when I play. Which I don't, by the way.
No, you shouldn't.
No, free parking is a terrible house rule. I don't know why you give people...
It makes the game take longer, who wants Monopoly to take longer?
And if somebody's bad at Monopoly, they shouldn't get free money on free parking. Just get them out of the game and kill them. That's the whole idea.
Do you feel pretty much the same at the end of every episode, or are there episodes where you're like, wow, that was a lot of fun, and episodes that maybe weren't quite as hot?
It's all pretty much... there's no, spikes, you know what I mean, and valleys. So it's pretty good, and little times it's like this or this, but it's always right there pretty good.
It's never a bad time,
no,
right?
Never a bad one.
How would you describe your hosting style, and how does it contrast with past hosts of the show?
I don't care.
I like that.
And Bob is the one that gave me that advice. He told me, we went out to lunch the first time I met him, and his advice was, make it your own show and don't try to copy me. And he wasn't threatening me. He was just giving me good... don't try to copy me. He was just giving me solid showbiz advice. When he started the show, he'd already been doing Truth or Consequences, and he'd been in radio and TV for a long time. And you have to have your own style of hosting. You can't think to yourself, I'm going to be this other person. And that's in life in general, not to mention, especially in the TV. You can't host a show like this and think, well, I'm going to be like this person I heard, because then you'll never sound authentic. And the worst thing you could be on TV in a show like this, where you're in somebody's television and in their living room and for an hour, is you can't be inauthentic.
Do you want to keep hosting for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I love Bob was 85 when he quit, and I don't know why he quit. I mean, I'll do this till I'm 100 years old, I think. It's really like so much fun, and it's, I come in, I'll tell you my hours. People don't send me any angry, don't try to punch me in the street, but I come in about 11:20, and then I leave, I'm dressed, makeup off, in my street clothes, on my way to the car by 6 o'clock every day, like 3 or 4 days a week. And then I get a week off every month. It's like 3 weeks on, 1 week off, pretty basically.
It's not
and
even banker's hours.
I get a couple months off in the summer, and it's really like the easiest hours. It's kind of part-time work. And it's fun, and people wear shirts with my name on it, and like it's great.
I have a question from my mom. She insisted that I ask.
Briefs.
Yeah. Would she? It's not even a question, really. It's a demand that you play more Rat Race on the show.
I'd love to. That's up to.
You seem to really enjoy that one.
Well, I invented it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was my invention.
Wow, that's a
my
good
one
one,
game
Drew.
that I invented.
That's the one. That's
Yeah.
a good one to have come
That is a
up
good
with.
one.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there, Drew. I just think you do a fantastic
Thanks,
job with
man.
the show, and
Thanks.
I've loved watching you grow into it. And just like I can tell that you love it on the screen.
I love it.
It's so much fun to watch.
I love it.
Thanks so much for
Thanks,
your time.
man. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
I'm glad I looked the part. I've been waiting like 15 years. I just hope I give it a good spin. I hope I don't pop a wheelie and land on my butt. If I don't do that, I think I'll be happy.
John, you want to say hello to somebody at home?
Yes, I want to say hi to my mom, my wife Anna, and baby Leo. Hi, baby Leo!
Gonna get a 20. Keep it or spin.
Got to spin on that.
Spin 80 or less. Yeah, if you're first, when you have a 55 or 60, those are tough numbers because a chance you could go over, but it's not enough to win. So you really have to give it a shot if you're the first person. And you are 50. Well, John, it was nice meeting you. You didn't go over, but the next two people are probably going to beat you. How about you for John, everybody?